The opinions expressed here are exclusively those of CG Sense. No brand affiliations, free products, or affiliate marketing are associated with this video.
For 7 days straight, I put on 6 sprays of Louis Vuitton Pacific Chill, 2 to the chest, 2 to each wrist. It's worth noting that these Louis Vuitton atomizers are pretty strong. The opening of this fragrance is what I'm going to get at first. Describing the opening, that's my favorite part of Pacific Chill. Most Louis Vuittons, I'm not a big fan of the opening. I'm more of a fan of the dry down, but with Pacific Chill, it runs the opposite course. I'm a huge fan of the opening, and then as it dries down, I kind of lose interest in this scent. But one thing I really want to emphasize with the opening is it definitely gives me the emotion of being refreshed. It's one of the most refreshing scents I've ever smelt in my life. And over the 7 days of wearing it, this fragrance really never lost the ability to refresh me on that first spray. Like even on day 7, having worn it 7 days straight, when I sprayed it on, that opening just gave me that refreshing, almost like drinking an ice cold glass of water on a hot summer day feeling emotionally. But how I would describe the scent is it's like a juicy, ripe peach and a green peach combined. So it's almost like you have this super ripe, beautiful peach smell, but with that, you're getting this really green, almost plant fiber, like you're biting into a green peach kind of effect alongside with it, and it's really balanced. So one of the simplest ways to describe this scent in the opening and in the first hour would be think of a green peach that's ripe. I know that's weird and seems really contradictory, but somehow the perfumer of this managed to put all those things together. And in the first hour of this fragrance, I really get a maintenance of that green peach effect. And I'm always sitting there thinking, man, whoever was the perfumer of this really is a magician more than a perfumer. Because I was like, this is just so realistic. I think he captured all the layers of a peach. Like he didn't just, oh, this is some peach fruity scent you would find at a Bath and Body Works or some peach shampoo. That's not what this is. This is peach where he was able to pull off simulating a perfectly ripe peach and also give you the impression of the fiber and even the tree that it's on and the environment that it's in. Like there's something so realistic about this fragrance and so refreshing in that first hour. That's the first hour of this fragrance. Now between hours 1 and 2, this fragrance softens. And what I mean by that is the green elements, the more nature feel kind of starts to diminish and it kind of just starts to smell like a juicy, ripe peach. That's the best way to describe it. That green peach turns into a ripe peach between hours 1 and 2. And then between hours 2 and 9, I'm left with a ripe peach that really feels like a skin scent. It feels like it's not projecting at all. I feel like judging the performance of this is really difficult because I've read people get really bad performance from this. My friends have told me they get bad performance from this, but all I could do is report honestly. I get 9 hours from this fragrance before I can't smell it at all. And I think it's not projecting at all between hours 2 and 9. But I've gotten a lot of compliments in this stage of the fragrance. I got no compliments in the first 2 hours, but between hours 2 and 9, I was standing outside and I had a friend ask what fragrance I was wearing at 7 hours. And I got another compliment from a coworker at 3 hours. So I feel like this fragrance actually really performs very well for me, but that contradicts everything I've read online. So take that with a grain of salt. Definitely test this and determine how it performs for you, for yourself, because a lot of people have a different experience from me. But between hours 2 and 9, the scent honestly is kind of annoying to me because it kind of just smells like peach. Like the green elements are gone. Like the first hour, that green peach is super unique, very interesting. Honestly, one of the more creative Louis Vuittons and something that feels like a niche fragrance, something that feels like a master put this together and made the most realistic fruit fragrance in the world. And then between hours 2 and 9, I feel like it's just peach. That's all it is. And I start to lose interest in this fragrance. So my personal opinion of this, it's very fruity, okay? Some people like that. Some people don't. But not only is it fruity, it's peach. So I feel like it's kind of easy to review this fragrance because not everybody's going to want to smell like peach. This is one of those fragrances that on paper, it seemed like a really good idea. And what I mean by that is going to a Louis Vuitton store, spraying paper, smelling that super refreshing green peach opening. I was really sold on this fragrance, but after wearing it for 7 days straight and realizing a lot of the experience is more in the dry down and it really just smells like peach at the end of the day, I got very sick of wearing this fragrance. Like on day 7, I didn't even want to wear this at all. Like I wore it because sometimes that's like my recap day where I really make a final conclusion on something, so it's very important. But I really did not want to wear this on day 7 because I was just over smelling like peach. I was just done with it. I will say it's one of the best fruit fragrances I've ever tried, and it's one of the most realistic, but I'm just not really into fruit fragrances. Like, and honestly, between this and God of Fire, I would pick God of Fire over this. And that literally is purely subjective. I mean, there's nothing that makes God of Fire better than Pacific Chill. It's just literally mangoes versus peaches. I prefer mangoes because there's something about peach that just feels a bit feminine to me. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I make that connection to femininity, but smelling like a peach to me is a bit feminine. So this fragrance in the first 2 hours, I feel like it's unisex. But then when it gets into that dry down where it just starts smelling like soft peach, I start to feel like it's a bit feminine. And I start to feel like, why would I pay like almost $400 to smell like this? Like, this isn't my vibe at all. And when it comes to fruity fragrances, I like fragrances with fruit as a part of it, like Creed Aventus with the pineapple, Blue Talisman with the pear. I like when the fruit is part of a bigger composition, but when the whole focus is fruit with scents like God of Fire and Pacific Chill, where the fruit is just front and center and it's a very fruity fragrance, I do appreciate having something like that because it offers something different in my collection, but I don't feel like I need a whole 100 milliliter of it. I don't feel like I need to spend crazy money on it, and that's just a personal style preference. The final thing I'll say about Pacific Chill that's a mark against it for me and why it's just not for me as a fragrance is the versatility. Like, ultimately, even if I wanted to smell like peach, even if I like this feels like a very restrictive summer scent. I would feel a bit weird showing up to the office projecting green peach or peach at all. Like, to me, it needs to be a bright summer day. And that's why I gravitate more towards L'Immensité or Imagination over this, because I feel like I could wear those more to the office, more soapy, more classy, whatever it is. This just feels like not a very versatile scent. Maybe if I lived by the ocean, I'd be more interested in something like this, but I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I'm not by the ocean, and it doesn't feel like there's too many occasions where I'd really want to wear this. So it's very rare for a fragrance to tell me a story. Pacific Chill and French Lover are actually the only two fragrances that I've tried that have told me a story. I think I need my stories to be a bit more direct and have a timeline, but put that aside, Pacific Chills tells me a story of a peach that starts off green and turns ripe. It really takes me through the whole lifespan of the fruit, and it has this hyper-realistic fruit nature to it. So this isn't like Afternoon Swim. Afternoon Swim is like a hyperbolic, almost Fanta orange, like cartoonish, not realistic. This is not like that. This is the super realistic fruit experience that takes me through the whole entire lifespan of the fruit. It's very refreshing, uplifting, very good vibes, casual, laid back style of scent. And it does feel like that. It does feel like chill. And it does make me think of the Pacific Ocean because I associate peaches with California. This actually makes me think a lot of my trip to Santa Cruz, California. That's a lot more like a countryside version of California. Like you have Los Angeles and Orange County, which are more city, uppity, Hollywood. But then you have Santa Cruz, which is more nature oriented. They have like the redwood forest, they have beautiful beaches, they have farmers on the side of the beaches, and that's where I imagine peaches are harvested in California. So this takes me to California, but not in a Santa Monica way. It takes me there much more in a natural, close to nature, earthy, kind of holistic way. So I really appreciate the vibe of this fragrance, and I really enjoyed my week wearing it, even though it's not for me.
Today we're talking about Pacific Chill. So to begin with, I'm just looking. It is the bottle. I was trying to see if the liquid was green or the bottle was green. The bottle is green, but it looks cool. It looks like a potion, you know, like the something from Halloween moment. But that's so far away from what it's supposed to be. Pacific Chill. Let's see. Okay, so the first impression, the first thing I get is like a very, very raw, just cut, juicy, fresh peach fruit. Very realistic and very fruity. It's like the fruitiest fragrance I've ever smelled in my life. I do think this could work as something unisex. I think, you know, it's a fruit. It's right in the middle. It's not feminine or masculine. I think it is just a fruit. That being said, I do believe that the dry down of this fragrance is more masculine leaning. I visualize, if, you know, we're talking about men's fragrances here. So I visualize this fragrance on a bright sunny day, outside, spring or summer, light clothing. You're wearing this. You smell good and interesting too, because it's not the typical men's perfume. It's like, oh, you smell different. So for that, I give it an 8.
The dry down.
Yeah, the dry down is like more soury, like more sharp, sour, but the fruit element is still there.